The best race that I've seen in World Superbike history where I wasn't involved was at Imola in 2002 between Troy Bayliss and Colin Edwards. It was the final race of the year, and what was nice about that was that both guys were fighting cleanly, and there was a lot at stake, so they were fighting right into the last corner, and there was a huge amount of respect for each other, and that's why I really enjoyed it.
My favourite World Superbike races from the past would be Shaky Burn at Brands Hatch on the Monster Mob Ducati. I think it would be 2003. As a wildcard, he won both races, and I remember there was so many people attended the race. He did great, and obviously being a young guy trying to get into World Superbikes, this was really cool for me. And also the Neil Hodgson and Chris Walker at Donington Park in the year 2000. I was following the championship closely, and I used to love when the wildcards used to come in and do well. So these are two of my favourite World Superbike races from the past.
I have some memory from the World Superbike. I remember that the World Superbike race in Albacete, that is a track very close to my home. But I think it was very special the year in 2011 when Checa won the World Championship and he won in Magny-Cours. Yeah, I know him, so I follow the championship maybe more in that season because he was fighting for the championship, but at the end he won it.
One of my best Superbikes memories is 2008, Portimao, the last round of the World Championship in Portimao, where Troy Bayliss took the double and also ended his career after 52 World Superbike wins. And he pulled away, he made a massive gap, but I think the people finished behind him is really interesting to watch. I think there was Jonathan, Crutchlow and a lot of other guys, so this is one of my best memories.
My best memories in Superbike of all these years. In 1998 was my first year in Supersport with Castrol Honda, and it was the era of Carl Fogarty. And as a British rider, to see Carl Fogarty win his third championship in '98 and also his fourth in 1999, with his epic battles with Pier Francesco Chili and Hager and all of these great names, that was my first exciting experience from Superbikes. And then when I moved to Superbikes myself, I was in probably one of the best eras with Troy Bayliss and Colin Edwards in 2002, one of the most famous endings to a championship that we've ever had. So I've been really lucky to have been around this amazing series since 1988 and be racing in and amongst some of the greatest riders we've ever had.
I think my top three will be Imola 2002, Bayliss Edwards. That was a really crazy race. Then also I think 2007, Toslan and Bayliss in Assen. I really enjoyed that last lap, and I can remember even without watching. And then some older races like maybe 96, 97, those years. Monza with Kili, last lap battle, 3-4 guys fighting for the win. That was the really cool years from World Superbike. The best years for me was until 2010. I enjoyed so much watching the races that period.
Yeah, there's obviously a ton of good races in Superbike history, and probably a lot have already been spoken about. But for me, one thing I think that has been quite unique about Superbike since I've been watching it since the mid-90s is that there were always the opportunities for wildcards to come in and do well. So at Sugo, at Laguna Seca, at Brands Hatch, there was always like a representative from each country, Japan, America and the UK, who would come in and more often than not would leave with the biggest trophy. So for me, Superbike, that's a really strong memory from the past in Superbike, and I think it's the opportunity back then that maybe is not so easy to have these days, but it was cool.
One race which really stood out to me a lot, which was in Assen, was the battle between Troy Bayliss and James Townsend, and it really stood out to me because they was fighting a lot every other corner, and it came down to the finish line and Troy Bayliss got it.
When I think about the best moment in Superbike history, I think about Monza, I think about the overtake of Troy Bayliss inside of Aga, inside of Edwards at Turn 1.
I'm never forget 2017 in Misano, Johnny and Chaz Davis the battle, and Chaz last lap is crash, and Johnny also jumping in the bike, and also Johnny finished the race in the podium, and I'm never forget this. Of course, last year in Mandalika for me is the best moment because we are world champion.
My favorite moment in Superbike history has to be the fight between Colin Edwards and Troy Bayliss, 2002 in Imola. It's an iconic race that sticks in my memory. I can remember exactly where I watched the race, and seeing a great rival like that play out in front of the TV was incredible. And I got the chance to race against Troy, which made my boyhood dreams come true as well. But more recently, I would have to say, personally, my favourite race of my whole campaign here in Superbike has been joining Kawasaki in 2015 and winning the first race of the season in Phillip Island. Was an incredible memory. Kawasaki hadn't won in Australia for so many years, and the expectation wasn't to be there. And to come out of that last corner and be the guy staring down the start-finish line with the sea in the background and catch that checker flag was a moment I'll never forget.
Hi, I'm Will Christian, and thank you all so much for watching. I'm here to remind you to hit subscribe for all the latest Supercross news and highlights. And of course, don't forget to sign up for Peacock Premium. That is now the new home for streaming for all live Supercross events all season long.